Why do I need the Holy Spirit? Why do the apostles need the Holy Spirit? And in John, you have from verse 8 through 11, and when he comes, he will convict the world concerning sin and righteousness and judgment. Concerning sin, because they don't believe in me. Concerning righteousness, because I go to the Father. Concerning judgment, because the ruler of this world is judged. I don't want to stretch it, but the more you read these verses, the more you see how difficult they are. They are very compact and they are not easy to interpret. There are 4 or 5 lines of interpretation, which are hotly debated. I'll go with the one offered by D. Carson, which makes sense to me, and it is very carefully argumented by D. Carson. That doesn't mean that they are not opponents to this interpretation. The first problem you have is the verb convict. It can mean to expose, to put to shame, to treat with contempt. Why is it good? Why is it not? Then let's say it convicts you, it exposes you in a negative way. What does it mean? He will convict concerning sin. He will convict the world concerning sin because they do not believe in me. Well, the interpretation goes along this line. Objectively speaking, legally speaking, there is absolutely no question whether you are guilty or not. Whether you believe it or you don't believe it, you are guilty in front of God. The thing is, how do we reach at your personal level? How do we reach at your subjective level? Can I persuade you on a personal level to see your sinfulness? And it is the Holy Spirit who is actually helping you to see your own sinfulness. When you realize your own condition, then you ask for God. Only a man who sees his condition in front of God asks for God. So then, when the Holy Spirit is convicting you of your sin, it is a gracious thing. It is a positive thing. It is a good thing. He's telling you, Dan, we are not even talking about whether objectively you are guilty or not. That is a fact. The thing is, if you don't see it at the personal level, you will not ask for our help. So it is actually the Holy Spirit who is helping, who's convincing us of convicting and convincing us at a subjective level that, man, yeah, I am. So in that sense, it is positive. It makes me go to God. Well, how about righteousness? Concerning righteousness, how does it convict me concerning righteousness? Well, there are a number of texts where we are told that we do have a righteousness. In Isaiah, God is actually criticizing the righteousness of Israel. He says, your acts of righteousness are like a cloth of menstruation. In Matthew 5:20, Jesus says, I tell you, unless your righteousness exceeds that of the scribes, you will never enter the kingdom. And then, of course, Paul says later on, from a legal point of view, I was blameless. Jesus is the paradigm, the model of behavior, the master who has to be followed. So one of the functions of the Holy Spirit in this case is to convict the empty righteousness of the people. So, for example, a legalist is very convinced that he's fine with God, the Holy Spirit will expose this guy as guilty. So when he's convicting you of sin, you are actually running to God. But when you are full of your righteousness and you see no need for God, the Holy Spirit is incriminating your faulty righteousness. That's why it is very dangerous to fall under the moral imperative. It is dangerous to make your own law because eventually the Holy Spirit will expose the cracks in your righteousness. Yeah. How about convicting the world of its judgment? How do we judge? What criteria do we judge by? Face, clothes, etc. So even Jesus says, stop judging by mere appearances and make a right judgment. Now, the Paraclete, or the Holy Spirit, convicts the world of its false judgment because of the triumph of Christ, because of the impending triumph of Christ, the prince of the world is condemned. All false judgment is related to the devil. If he stands condemned, the devil, the false judgment of those who follow is also exposed. We need to be convicted that our measures of analyzing are wrong, are faulty. I only tell you, in one sense, the Holy Spirit, when it shows you that you are sinful, it's a good thing. It means you go to God. But when you are in your own mind convinced of your own ethical righteousness, then the Holy Spirit exposes the cracks in your righteousness. And when you believe that you judge correctly, He will expose your criteria of judgment as wrong. What I need to touch is the following. The discharge of the commission, of the Great Commission, is impossible without the empowerment of the Holy Spirit. It is needed to remind ourselves that, for example, when we speak with somebody, the success is depending on the Holy Spirit. I cannot possibly convict you of your sinfulness, or of your righteousness, or of your judgment on my own. It doesn't matter how rhetorical I am. It doesn't matter how persuasive my speech is, or logical, or anything like that, or crafted, whatever word you want. I will not win, in a true sense of the word, by intelligent argument. It is only and only the work of the Holy Spirit. The reason there was any success for the apostles is because the Holy Spirit worked through them. When Peter speaks, it is not Peter who's persuading. When you speak to your friends, don't convince them. Don't you be the one who convinces them. Present the truth as precise as you can. And if the Spirit is with you, He will do His own work. Now, if He says no, He doesn't say no to me. In other words, if there is any reason for a Calvinist to go in a mission, is because the only chance of success is the Holy Spirit who's calling His elect. It's controversial, I understand that, but to a large degree is correct. I have no hope for success unless the Holy Spirit convicts someone in my audience of their necessity of Jesus' atonement. So everything that happens in the book of Acts is not the result of human intelligence, rhetorical persuasion, or anything as such. Now, the risk is huge, and we learned from the epistles of Corinthians, First Corinthians, when the audience of Paul, when the church from Corinth is asking Paul to be a little bit more rhetorical. He's telling them that he's afraid not somehow to win them over for his nice character, for his nice speech. Actually, when you win, supposedly, someone to Christ because of a good joke, because of the way you present yourself, the whole thing is in danger. Because now you don't know what is first and foremost the other person believing in? Why did they believe? Say, uh, as a Christian, I am not here to convince you. Of course, I want the best for you. I want you to be saved. But I know I cannot convince you at a human level. Well, probably a child or something. But that when I convince you at a human level, that is not. I'm not sure if that's we are talking about true conversion. It has to come from the Holy Spirit.